Hey guys, this is Hunter with You Don't Know Ball. Today we're going to be going over Benjamin Solak's mock draft 1.0. He writes for The Ringer. I've seen a lot of his Twitter content, but I've never really seen any of his mock drafts that he's done. So let's get into it right away. It doesn't look like there's any preferences or that he did for this mock draft, just kind of going with where he thinks these players are going to go. If you don't read The Ringer, I think their website probably has some of the cleanest layouts that they can. Like, as you'll see as we go through this mock draft, everything just looks really clean and really nice. At number 1, we have the Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams. So, I think this is pretty standard. Every time we do one of these mock drafts, it's the same thing. Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears. It is almost a fact at this point that it's going to be this scenario. From what I've been hearing is that Ryan Poles is sold on the ability of Caleb Williams, and it's really up to Caleb as a person to sell him. But obviously there's been a lot of character things up in the air about Caleb, and most of the things, if not all of the things about his character that are trashing his character have been shot down by coaches, teammates, all that stuff. So I don't really think that's going to be a problem. I think the Bears are really going to take a swing on Caleb Williams here. At number 2, we have Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders. So he writes, there's early rumblings around the league. The early rumblings around the league have NFL teams down on Drake May, the UNC quarterback who has largely been the favorite for the second pick in this cycle. I far prefer May to Daniels, who is a late bloomer and a one-read and run quarterback at this time, but it seems like teams love his production. Truly game-breaking speed. So I could see Daniels working with a Cliff Kingsbury. I don't necessarily know if the situation that you're putting him in Washington is going to do him really any favors. But at the same time, with Cliff Kingsbury, they just hired Anthony Lynn. I'm not going to lie, I really don't like their kind of hiring process that they've done over there in Washington. But, maybe at the Combine we'll see something. Cliff Kingsbury did coach Kyler Murray, and I'm not saying him and Jaden Daniels are similar, but I would say they're more similar than him and Drake May. But anyway, I just think also if you're not going to take Daniels or May at number 2, you can trade back and probably get Daniels. Maybe swap with the Patriots. I don't know. At number 3, we have the Patriots taking Drake May. So the Patriots are in an awkward spot. They can get the third quarterback of the top 3, but should only stay here and pick that player if they really like them. Otherwise, while Marvin Harrison Jr. would be an excellent selection, finding a team to trade back can provide franchise-changing value. So if the Patriots find themselves at, I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. Oh, I just got tongue-tied right there. What the hell? I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. If the Patriots find themselves in a spot where they're at pick 3 in the draft and Drake May is available to them, you have 2 options in my opinion. You can take Drake May, hope he's the guy, put him in an offense that is really not ideal for a rookie, and a coaching staff that's really not ideal for a rookie, and cross your fingers and hope that the best thing happens. But I believe if Drake May is available at 3, it gives you a lot more value to work with in the trade back as opposed to it being Jaden Daniels. I think a lot more teams are more interested in moving up and taking the chance on Drake May than they are on a 5th-year, senior in Jaden Daniels. So I would trade back if I'm the Patriots, but at the same time, the quarterback class isn't that good next year. So it really is going to depend on what your plan is going forward. At number 4, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Arizona Cardinals. I think this makes the most sense if MHJ is available at 4. Unless they're one of those teams that has Malik Neighbors higher than them, I think he just makes the most sense. Give Kyler Murray a weapon. You could bring Hollywood Brown back possibly. They have Michael Wilson. They have Trey McBride. That offense really, from a skill position standpoint, isn't as far away as most people think. I think they have really nice depth in the receiver room. I just think they need a couple more alphas in their offense. At number 5, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking Joe Alt. This is not a flashy pick. Chargers fans probably won't like this because, you want Bowers or you want a receiver. But to pair like the top tackle prospect with Rashawn Slater, as long as you focus on the interior of that line after this pick or, wide receiver after this pick, I think this is the best option for the future. Bowers would be great and pair well with Justin Herbert, but Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater is kind of a crazy combo that is really hard to pass up, in my opinion. At number 5 or at number 6, we have Rome Odunze to the Giants. Interesting here. I think if you want to go big body instead of more finesse, you go Rome and you give Daniel Jones with the top 3 quarterbacks off the board, unless they go get a guy in free agency, which I doubt. I think they're probably going to roll it with Daniel Jones one more year, because at the end of the day, if he is not the guy after this year, you got to go. I think you've ran the course as many times as you can. It just ain't working out. But you finally give him like a big wide receiver 1 on the outside. Hopefully he can make an impact day 1. That would be my only concern. Is I think Rome is going to be a good NFL player, but my thing is, I think it would be nice if you could put him in an offense where he didn't have to be the number 1 option right away. I think if you give him some time to grow and develop a little bit more, I think you'd be in a better spot. But overall, good positional value for the New York Giants. At number 7, we have the Tennessee Titans taking Olu Fashanu. You get tackle 2 off the board, probably the best pass protector in the draft. Pairing with Peter Skoronski. I've seen so many mock drafts having the Titans take a tackle here, and I just think it's kind of written. Like if one of the 2 tackles, Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu, are available at 7, I don't really see how you pass up on them. It just wouldn't make sense, in my opinion, when you're talking about value. At number 8, so we have the Atlanta Falcons taking J.J. McCarthy. That is truly nuts. He says, do I like this? No. Are the Falcons fans furious with me? Probably. I don't know what you want. The league is telling us this is going to happen. The rumors are McCarthy will go in the top 15, and this is one of the landing spots that makes sense. McCarthy reads to me as a Purdy-like quarterback in a Shanahan-McVay system. He has a quick release and movement skills as long as he does what his play caller tells him to. Honestly, so I get what he's saying in the analysis. I agree that McCarthy will go top 15. I think he's probably going to go to the Vikings or the Broncos. When he says a Purdy-like quarterback in a Shanahan-McVay system, I have to disagree with that. I think McCarthy, there's a reason Purdy was taken in the last pick of the draft, and there's a reason McCarthy is going to go first round. I know he probably wasn't comparing them 1-to-1, but at the end of the day, McCarthy has way better legs. He's way faster. McCarthy's arm, I think, is better. And my thing is, I don't like him in the idea of a Shanahan offense. I like him in the idea of a McVay offense, because the issue with the Shanahan offense is if you're not on time, if you're not doing exactly what the play says, the play's not going to work. That's why they got rid of Jimmy G, and that's why they got Brock Purdy. Because when they got Brock Purdy, they're talking about, oh yeah, it's like having Kyle out on the field. But we saw in the Super Bowl, like how far can you take a schemed offense that is so rigid? And in my opinion, in the McVay offense, you allow the players to be a little bit more loose, kind of more like an Andy Reid offense. And J.J. McCarthy can be creative with the ball. I know he didn't run or he didn't pass a lot in the last year at Michigan, but I still think he is a good thrower of the football, and I think in a McVay-like system like a Zach Robinson, he could excel here. Now, while Falcons fans may not like this, I don't think it's as bad as a pick as you may think. I think he could have success here. He has a good offensive line, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. He has weapons around him. He doesn't need to be the best quarterback. He can be a productive quarterback in this offense, and who says he has to play the first year? Let Desmond Ridder run it one more year. J.J. McCarthy could really benefit from sitting here and being put into a situation where the talent around him is very high. That was a long spiel, but J.J. McCarthy to the Falcons is not as horrible as you may think. At number 9, we have the Bears taking Malik Neighbors. If the Bears get Caleb Williams and Malik Neighbors, I don't know if I will ever come down. Like, I will never come down from that high. Like, I'm a Bears fan. I'm so ready for the draft. And to put Malik Neighbors next to DJ Moore, I know they're kind of similar like receivers, but at the same time, like, if they're that good, who cares? You have Cole Kmet. Go get another wide receiver in free agency. Caleb Williams is really set to succeed in Chicago if they can also get a center and fix that interior a little bit. Nate Davis needs to step it up a little bit. Tevin Jenkins got to stay healthy. The tackles are okay. Darnell Wright's actually pretty good on the right side. So this is a home run pick for the Bears. At number 10, we have the Jets taking Brock Bowers. I see this a lot. I see it's either Brock Bowers or a tackle. And when it's Brock Bowers, I hate it. So let's see what he has to say. It's always hard to find the landing spot for a top tight end. Most teams have needs. Bro, I'm so sorry for all the viewers here. Have needs at higher value positions, but the Jets feel like a great spot. They need a second pass catcher to pair with Garrett Wilson. They do not have a strong starting tight end, and Bowers has a blocking prowess to help mitigate their lackluster tackle situation. I mean, I guess, but like, you want to be able to use Bowers without having him line up right on the line. Like, you could use Bowers in the slot, and yes, I agree they need a better pass catcher, but I've been hearing that Aaron Rodgers has been recruiting Devontae Adams. I know he's not a free agent, but go get another pass catcher in free agency, dude. Like, they need a tackle. Talisa Fuaga here would be a better option, in my opinion. At number 11, we have Quinyon Mitchell, the first corner off the board, going to the Minnesota Vikings. So I think the Vikings need a corner here. They need defense. They need edge. And it's very interesting to see. I've never seen Quinyon be the first corner off the board. I don't necessarily disagree with it. I think people would be more open to the option of like a Terrion Arnold, strictly because he did play in Alabama and he was playing against better competition. But he says, I see a clear CB1 in Quinyon Mitchell despite his small school pedigree. His ability was on film in the MAC and in the Senior Bowl practices against top competition. Mitchell can play man either up at the line or off the ball. He can bait throws and feel routes in the zone. And he has the blend of movement skills and size to account for a variety of body types at receiver. I think he's Greg Newsome, and I like him better than either of the Alabama corners in this class. Fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I think Quinyon Mitchell is a very impressive prospect. At number 12, okay, so we got another corner off the board. We have Terrion Arnold to the Broncos. I like this. You pair him with Pat Surtain. You get a young, moldable corner. He's very, very, very physical. He's a great run stopper. And in my opinion, a lot of his cons can be coached out. He's 20 years old. It says 21, but I was seeing 20, so maybe he is 21 now. But anyway, that's besides the point. He only played 2 years at Alabama. I think he still needs a lot of experience, but in 2023, he had 5 interceptions and 12 pass breakups. So you're getting an elite secondary in Denver in a year or two. At number 13, we have Talisa Fuaga to the Raiders. I think this pick makes a lot of sense. He kind of, in my opinion, embodies what Antonio Pierce would consider a Raider, if you've seen that video. He's a very dominant run blocker, pretty good pass blocker as well. And, you know, if you are going to target like a second-round quarterback, you're going to have to protect him. And I think Talisa Fuaga is a good pick here. At number 14, we have J.C. Latham to the Saints. I like this pick a lot. You have him opposite of Trevor Penning. And my thing is, Ryan Ramczyk is at right tackle, but I believe he's getting kind of older and everything like that. So it's like you want a succession plan. I think Latham can play right away. You might want to sit him for a while, and he could also be your kind of swing tackle if any injuries happen. But I would hope that you'd be able to start Latham right away. I don't know if you'd want to sit him. This Saints line needs work. Their defensive line needs work. And I think J.C. Latham is a very high floor guy where you took kind of more of a risk with Trevor Penning. Good pick for them. At number 15, we have Latu to the Colts. I think this is a really good pick. This is the first time in a while I've seen Latu be the edge one off the board. He's very bendy, very speedy. He's got a lot of finesse. He is one of those smaller edges, though, just in terms of weight. But he says, I love the talent of Latu, but worry about his medicals. What doctors find during the NFL Combine later this month in Indianapolis will be big for him. The Colts have great pass rush by committee last season. Samson Ebukam, Cody Pay, and Dayao. Oh, I'm not even going to try to say it. I've heard it multiple times, and I cannot remember how it's pronounced. Had at least 8 sacks apiece rushing off the edge. So I agree. I think Latu would be good here. I think an edge would be good here. And so for people who don't know, he went to Washington, had a neck injury, retired for 2 years, and then came back to UCLA. I believe it was 2 years. UCLA, but he's never had any issues with the injury after he came back. So I think it's a little overblown at this point, but if they go in deeper and find a bigger issue, then yeah, it'll be a problem. At number 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking Dallas Turner. They need help on the edge. They have a good secondary. You want to help your secondary. Get more pass rush. You got a defensive head coach. This pick just makes a lot of sense. Dallas Turner is a physical freak. Once Uchenna Nwosu went down midseason, Seattle's lack of edge rusher depth was sorely exposed. Now with Mike McDonald in place as the new head coach and defensive mind, Seattle doesn't need elite play off the edge, but versatility would sure be welcome. So Turner is smaller than Latu. I tweaked on that. I always thought Turner doesn't Turner look a little bit bigger, like in stature? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tweaking, but to me, Turner's always looked bigger. At number 17, we have Byron Murphy to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like this pick a lot. You get the top interior defensive lineman off the board, and Jacksonville has Trayvon Walker. They have Josh Allen, and their team, I could also see them going corner here. They have a lot of, I don't want to say glaring needs, but a lot of issues that they need to address. And I think adding a top interior defensive lineman really puts that defensive line in another gear. At number 18, we have the Bengals taking Jackson Powers Johnson. Very, very interesting. So he says, I really like this pairing. Powers Johnson entered the Senior Bowl as a fringe first-round player, and his performance there likely vaulted him into an established spot in the first round. Left guard was a huge issue on an otherwise solid Bengals line last season, and I think JPJ can immediately slide in the spot and succeed. While he was a college center, he has NFL guard size at 334 pounds. Powers Johnson can also be a potential Ted Karras replacement as a veteran contract up after 2024 season. I like the idea of going towards the line. I could also see them going like an Amarius Mims here to put on the right side. Obviously, if you are Orlando Brown on the right side, I think tackle would be a little bit better, positional value. But Jackson Powers Johnson to me is a very safe pick. He can play guard, he can play center. You have versatility on the inside, and you know that he will be a solid starter for you. At number 19 to the Rams, we have Kool-Aid McKinstry. I've been seeing them go corner here a lot in these mock drafts. So he says, as an early candidate for best name in the entire draft, Kool-Aid McKinstry is smooth and a sticky man coverage defender. With the size to contend with NFL wide receiver ones, the Rams desperately need a true top corner, as Akilo Witherspoon on a 1-year deal was their best option at outside cornerback this season. McKinstry would walk into a starting job. Yeah, at 6'1", I like this pick. I think the Rams are going to end up going corner or maybe even edge rusher. I could see them going Jared Verse. That kind of strikes me as a Rams pick. But at the end of the day, you can't be upset with them trying to fill their secondary out with first-round talent. Obviously, they don't have a lot of talent back there at the cornerback position, and this guy would definitely give you a pretty high floor. At number 20, we have the Steelers taking Cooper DeJean. I like this a lot. He is a very, very good run defender, very athletic, very high effort player, and you could move him to safety if you want. You can mix him around. And I think with Mike Tomlin's defense, with the way that they run their defense, I think this would be a really good fit. I think he honestly really fits that like Steeler mold of player. And if you want to pair him up with like Minkah Fitzpatrick and Joey Porter Jr., I think you're really building something special in the secondary there. At number 21, we have Amarius Mims to the Dolphins. So I usually am against drafting like first round tackles when you already have like 2 tackles in place, but I think the Dolphins situation is a little different, and I'll tell you why. Teron Armstead has dealt with a lot of injuries, and he's getting older, and I think Amarius Mims has only 800 snaps at Georgia. Like I think it's 803, and I think he could really use a year to sit and develop as an NFL tackle. I think he has a lot of traits. I think he has a lot of skills. I think he has a lot of potential, and I think those can be fully maximized if he sits a year behind a legend like Teron Armstead and learns a lot. And then maybe if Armstead walks after 2024, Mims just comes in and fills the hole. I think they do really need to focus on interior, though, later in the rounds and in free agency. At number 22, we have Jared Verse to the Eagles. So going back to the D-line well, after taking Jalen Carter at 9 last year, the Eagles are always going to go for a premium position in the first round. With Hassan Reddick's possible trade candidate, yeah, I think Reddick is out of there. I think they do need to fix... I don't know if they need to fix the O-line. See, my thing is, like, I see more of a need in the secondary, but I'm never going to be upset. I mean, like, Verse is a very good edge rusher and would fit very well in there. But I don't know. I like the pick as a player. I just don't know if it's the best option as a position of need. But at the same time, it's kind of like the Eagles, the bread and butter is the trenches, so it does make sense. At number 23, we have the Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Texans. If you're not going to go interior D-line, edge, or corner here, I think wide receiver is the next option. You have, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, I don't know if Robert Woods and then Noah Brown. I don't know out of those two if they're still on contract for next year, but Brian Thomas Jr. gives you a big body. I know Nico Collins is a bigger body as well, but with CJ Stroud kind of ascending so much in his rookie year, giving him more talent to work with, giving Bobby Slowick more talent to work with, is just a recipe for success for the Texans. At number 23, we have Jerzon Newton going to the Cowboys. This is the first time I've seen him mocked here, and it's looking more and more like Jerzon Newton may be kind of a late first round pick, but honestly, whoever gets him will be very happy, and I would consider it really a steal. I mean, I think this is a guy who could possibly go 15 and 15 to 20, right? Like, I think he's a mid first round guy, if not top 15, and I think because of positional value, he will fall a little bit, but honestly, Jerzon Newton, one of the best interior defensive linemen this draft class. The Cowboys continue to build on the trenches. I also think they could go O-line here, depending on who they want to look at. But I just think the Cowboys are a hard team because it's like you already are stacked so many places, but it's like you really need like that player to push you over the top. I think Jerzon Newton could really help that line do that. At number 25, we have Graham Barton to the Green Bay Packers. He's mocked as a tackle, but Graham Barton is really kind of projected to play the interior of the line. I think he is a very good player and probably a very safe bet if you want an interior O-lineman in this year's draft. The Packers O-line wasn't bad, though, last year, and I don't know if it's the most important need in the first round. I also see you could have went like a corner or a safety here. Maybe a Nate Wiggins would work, Cam Kitchens, Tyler Nubin. I don't hate the pick because the Packers are known for going trenches in the first round, and, that is something they would do. But I don't know, considering like value, since you have 2 second-round picks, like Graham Barton may be someone you could have got in the second. At number 26, we have Chop Robinson to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pair him with Kalijah Cansey. My thing with Chop is he's very quick off his first step, and he is an athletic edge, but I think he's going to be an early second-round pick, late first. I just don't know if he's edge 4. But with what Todd Bowles can do with his defenders, it may make sense for them. At number 27, we have Ennis Rakestraw Jr., very good run defender. I think, the Cardinals, after going Marvin Harrison Jr. in this draft, I believe, could really go anywhere. I think they have really needs everywhere on the field, and a corner is a premium position. So if you want to get a guy that you know is going to be a starter for you at the cornerback position and you have him for 5 years, Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is a good pick. At number 28, we have Keon Coleman to the Bills. I love this pick. I always want Keon Coleman to go to the Bills, Chiefs, or the Ravens. I just think it makes the most sense. He doesn't really have to be that wide receiver one. He can be a big body for one of these top quarterbacks in the league as kind of like a safety net. He's good with contested catches, and he's not forced to be guarded by the best player on the opposing team. I think if Keon Coleman were to go to a team where they need a wide receiver one, I don't know if he would do very well, just to start his career. At number 29, we have Nate Wiggins to the Lions. This makes a lot of sense. A lot of people are very high on Nate Wiggins, and to go to the secondary in Detroit where it's kind of been band-aided and they need a more long-term solution, Wiggins can be that guy. He is a big, long corner who can break up the pass, and I just think with the way the Lions are constructed, whether it's Wiggins or another corner, they're going to go cornerback in the first round. I am a little surprised, though, that Rakestraw Jr. went before Wiggins. At number 30, we have Troy Fontanu to the Baltimore Ravens. It makes sense. He's put as a guard here. He can also play tackle, I think. So it says right guard Kevin Zeitler is on his last legs, and left tackle Ronnie Staley has had his snaps managed last year. Left guard John Simpson was an above average starter. Fontanu won't be the solution to all those problems, but he could be a solution to anyone. I agree with that. I think if you're looking for versatility on the interior of the offensive line, this would be a good pick. At number 31, we have the San Francisco 49ers taking Kingsley Sumatia, I believe it's pronounced. They need a fix at right tackle for Colton McKivitz. And I think this is the guy. And also the other thing is Trent Williams is getting older. You need a replacement for him. I think tackle here is the right option. Anything O-line is the right pick for the 49ers. At number 32, we have Ladd McConkey to the Chiefs. I like Ladd McConkey. I think he's very explosive. He's got great hands. He's dealt with some injuries, but put him opposite of Rashee Rice, put him next to Travis Kelce, and I think you are revitalizing that wide receiver room in Kansas City, especially if you go get a nice free agent at wide receiver. So this has been Benjamin Solak's mock draft on The Ringer. I did enjoy this one. It did have some different picks that I'm used to seeing, and I like that he mixed it up, and I don't necessarily think any of these picks are really out of the realm of possibility. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your favorite or least favorite pick in this mock draft. As always, we're bringing you guys daily content. We appreciate you guys so much. We're growing every day. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.